I want to thank Clay for coming out here and talking to me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Alexandria
Landeros.
Landeros, the undercover Mexican girl.
That's the non-undercover version of my last name.
She's real good for the 6th Street Cowboy, and we have just released the record. Me and Charlie Pierce is now working my band for me, picking up musicians, and we released 3 songs for a Dallas station that wanted to hear some Tejano music, and I sing in country music and Spanish and English, and that's what he wanted. So I sent him the stuff yesterday, and they'll be playing it Friday already down there, and we're working on a Kickstarter kit, which I'm sure that Alexandria will talk about it after a while.
Yes, sir.
But
so should I just begin and start asking questions here? This is a good spot
like
for you?
Everybody else, you know.
Okay. All right, so Sam, what is it about your lifestyle here in Austin, Texas that makes you unique?
Makes me unique. Well, I was going to ask you what made you want to give me the interview that made me unique. You know what I mean? I just ride my horse around town. That, you know what? I got caught on that incident 2 years ago, but I'm an Austinite. I was born here. My mother was a school teacher. My dad worked for the city of Austin and retired in the water and wastewater department. I went to Becker Elementary, Fulmore Junior High, Travis High School. I've been riding horses before there was even a hike and bike trail here down by the lake. My dad, we'd ride in parades with the Charles, and we'd bring the horses, and I'd ride all the way to Camel's Hole, and there was no hike and bike trail back then in the old days. I'm talking early 70s. You know, I was young. You know, I'd ride I'd bring this horse named Norteño, and I'd ride him a sorrel quarter horse stud. I'd ride him to the lake, and then we'd ride around the neighborhood. And actually, the 6th Street Cowboy's been working for the last 4 years downtown. Actually, I've been riding to town for the longest, but you know, I got called in the news on that incident back then, and what makes me unique, I don't know what's so unique about being a cowboy in Texas, man. I mean, this is what made this state, these animals, and I mean, anybody can do it. It's just having the right animal that knows the traffic. But I mean, this is Texas. It's guys like me that used to ride around here, and the laws are still in effect in the books. I mean, they said I had friends in higher places, but I don't know. I mean, I went to jail. I was told you're free to go. I mean, the law's still in effect. You can ride, as long as I didn't come in shooting my 6-shooter, I was free to go. And the judge was great to me downtown. The prosecuting attorney, I think his name was Escamilla. I met him at Houston Intelligence College one day, and he was, you know, the law's still in effect, Sam. And, you know, you didn't come here shooting a gun, and we just let you sleep it off, let you go. You know? And
Sam, not to dwell too much on this, but just real briefly to clarify for the viewers, what was the law that you're referring to?
You can still ride farm animals on the streets of Texas, and it's not a motorized vehicle, so it wasn't considered a DWI. And the law that I got tried with was a law back from, I guess, the 1800s, where if a cowboy came into Austin, Texas, or any town in Texas, as long as he wasn't shooting a gun up in the air or doing something crazy like that, you know, you'd let him sleep it off and turn him loose in the morning. That's exactly how I got tried. I went to court, saw the judge, he called my name. He said, he told me that. Did you come in here shooting a 6-shooter? I said, no. He goes, you're free to go. You know, I've looked at every law in the book, and I had to try you like back in the 1800s, you know, when there was still, that law's never has been outdated. It just got faded out. People stopped doing it till you came back into the picture. I said, well, I couldn't drive. I just woke up from a coma 4 months, and my friend Freddie Rios asked me at the track where I got hurt, how do you want to celebrate that you're alive again and you're right? I said, you know what? I had passed an aptitude test to go to school, to go to Virginia College to be a surgical tech, but me with my hearing and my eyesight kind of bad on my left ear, you know, you got to be sharp on the surgery table. There's no way I could have done that. You know what I mean? You get asked for suture and I don't hear, you know. So what I did was I told Freddie Reed, I said, I passed this aptitude test. Let's go ride to town. Let's go to town. We'll go to the Capitol. We'll go to Hole in the Wall and see Dennis, my friend. We'll go to Bevo's. We'll go down 6th Street, and then we'll call it a night. Little did I know, you know, back then, you know, I would drink. And I would take some medicine to help me sleep, because I had lost track of time, you know. I mean, in my head, I couldn't sleep, so I would take the stuff, and it would, I would sleep normally, you know what I mean? I'd take it at 10, and by midnight, you're going to bed, and you're going to wake up in the morning. And it's, you know, I don't know. And so it just so happened that day, you know, Freddie was taking some pictures. They said we were coaxing people out to the street, but I met you. Did I coax you out?
No, I came over to you.
Yeah, I don't coax nobody out. I've become the cowboy downtown. I've met people from Tokyo, Japan, Germany, Australia, all over the world that come to this city, this Texas, to see cowboys on the road, and they always say, now we see them, and it's always you. I said, well, yeah, you know, I feel that since my disability, you know, I can't really, there's days that I forget stuff and I'm kind of in my own world, but for the most part, I've made it my job to be the cowboy downtown, you know. I go to the Capitol, the DPS troopers are great to me. I met the chief of police several times, and he's a good man. He's real good to me. Chief Acevedo I can honestly say he's become my friend, you know, and there was a time I'd get harassed by some of the police officers in town, but for the most part, I don't bother them, they don't bother me. We have that understanding, and it's a fine line, but now I even get waves at them. Hey, Sam, hey, how you doing, guys? You know what I mean? Because they've accepted me, and I didn't keep, you know, I've done interviews with the news people, and with David Scott and Pamela Talbert, and they've asked me, you know, what are you going to do when you know, Cowboy Church came forward, Beverly Lilly, and these 3 ladies came forward and got my animals out, because they let me go, but they kept my animals.
Oh, no.
They kept my animals for a week, and it was like, it happened on a Friday night, and it was the following Friday. If I didn't have them back, they were going to auction them off. But Cowboy Church came forward. I met Beverly Lillian. I didn't meet the other ladies, and they paid for the vet, and my animals were held in Elgin Veterinarian, and they paid, and I got my animals back. And the same day, they go, "What are you going to do now?" I said, "I'm going back downtown. It's perfectly legal. You've been showing me every day for 7 days, on morning, noon, night. I mean, CNN. I didn't know that nobody's done this in 150 years, you know, downtown Austin. But I wasn't doing it to be fair. I was doing it because it was how I got around. I said, you know what? Come ride with me. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you another world out there. You know what I mean? And it's legal because a friend of mine, a cop that works at UT at. I was working at 7-Eleven at 26 in Guadalupe, and he would come in, and I would work for the 7-Eleven there for Sudeep Haya. And I had this scheme. I said, look, we sell food there. And I said, look, I'll bring the mule and my horse, Blue Dog, and if I sell a pizza, I'll give a ride around the block. And he goes, can you do that? I said, yeah, it's perfectly legal. I got this paper from the cop. It's the bylaw. And so, sure enough, I started selling pizzas. Well, you buy a pizza, I'll give you a ride to the 19th Street store and come back. And I was known as the 7-Eleven cowboy there for a while. So you buy pizza, I'd give you a ride around the block, and then they would give the pizza to a homeless guy. And so half the time they just wanted a picture and a ride on the horse, you know. But I was doing that way before, and then I got hurt at the racetrack, you know.
That's really interesting, Sam. So you were the 19th Street cowboy originally, it sounds like.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven cowboy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
On 19th Street. Is that when you first started taking your animals out? And how did you begin? I know you've kind of explained because that's your way to get around. But when did you start taking out your animals, your horses, your mule, to go out riding through the streets?
Well, hell, I've been doing that since I could ride. You know, I would bring the horse in town. We'd ride in parades, and I can honestly say for the past maybe 15 years, we've been bringing our horses. And when we had a parade downtown, me and my parents, my father and my brothers, well, we'd ride around the neighborhood and stuff. But actually, it's been probably the last, I would think since 2003, I started bringing the horses into town around 7-Eleven, the UT area. And I remember it was you know what? I can honestly say it was a Juneteenth parade. We were going to ride down to Juneteenth parade, and I was with my friend Travis. And I go, dude, I got this bylaw from 7-Eleven. And I go, let's go down 6th Street. He goes, they're going to get us. No, it's perfectly legal, man. I got this paperwork. So Travis said, okay. So we rode down to 6th Street all the way. And this was back before I got hurt. This was back about 2003 or 4. And we rode down to 6th Street, and they didn't tell me nothing. And that was the first time I did it. You know, I mean, I was doing it around UT from block to block, but we actually rode through town past, nobody comes inside 35. You know what I mean? They'll come turn around, but I went right through town. And I went to the Capitol, and the DPS troopers are great. I see some of the people out there in suits and stuff. I don't know if they're senators or they work there, but they've taken pictures with me, some of them, and I've actually got to where I sign autographs now sometimes. You know what I mean? That's a great feeling. You know, back then it was like when you lose everything. This is all I got. I got to make the best of it, man, and I did make the best of it. You know, this is what I do. You know, I was riding by Rebecca Baines Johnson, and this lady came up to me and said, "Hey, there's a man here. He's real sick, and he wants to see your mule." And he had a mule, and I said, "I'll do better than that. I'll bring my band and we'll play for y'all." And sure enough, I played for them in November, and then New Year's Eve they called me back and they said, "Hey, we want you to be the band for New Year's Eve." And I said, "Wow!" And it's just been magic ever since, you know. The spirits really worked for me. I prayed on it, and then Alan Roy, which plays with me quite a bit when I do gigs, and there was another guy. Well, Aubrey plays for him, but everybody had to go somewhere for New Year's. And I'm sitting at the table at Soli Luna. I was playing there, and then there was a guy sitting on the table, and I said, "Man, I need to get a guitar player." And this guy goes, "I'll play for you, Cowboy." It was Marshall Hood. That's how he came aboard. And I go, "Man, I can't afford you. I'll play for you, man." And sure enough, he started playing for me, and I've taught him how to ride. And the band member, they've ridden horses for me. And New Year's Eve, I can honestly say, the sign I got from above was, I played at Rebecca Baines Johnson, then I had another gig at Off the Hookah from 11 to 2, and I played from 7:30 to 10 at Rebecca Baines Johnson for this. And it's just been magic ever since starting off.
And you're a singer, or do you play an instrument, would you say?
I play, but because I don't hear on my left side or really can see too good. Actually, my left side of my brain is slower to react. You know, I can talk and stuff, but to hear the chords and the change and stuff, I can't move fast enough. You know what I mean? My fingers you know, it affects me. So I'm just the vocals. I sing in Spanish and English, and I just sing the truth. I can only sing stuff I've actually lived through or been through. I sing quite a few songs, but it's because I've been through the stuff. You know, I got songs like, you know, I got "Get Up and Close the Door." I call that my Helen song. You know, I got "Before I'm Done." I call that my mother's song. You know what I mean? I sing that to my mom. It reminds me of stuff like that. And then I got "Thought I Was Over You." I call that my cat song. You know, because the words and the lyrics remind me of something I've gone through or I'm going through. I call my Cece song is called "You Always Come Back to Hurting Me." I mean, you know, those are how I remember the songs, you know, because I don't know the names of the songs, but I know that the words and lyrics, you know, are something I've been through in life, you know. And that's
great. And how would you describe the style of music you play?
I sing traditional country music. I sing real, well, that's all real, you know, out there. They call it real, but I sing stuff that when I was growing up in the era, my father used to hear, or I'd hear, or, you know, my brothers are rodeo cowboys, so we would love to hear George Strait and Mark Chestnut and Mo Bandy. Being the Hispanic influence, Freddie Fender. Johnny Rodriguez is one of my favorite singers. So I try to translate stuff, you know. I translate it, I call it my Corazon song. I sing a medley by Johnny Rodriguez and "Today I Start Loving You," and it's probably been copied 80 times, but I sing it in Spanish. I was riding Big Red one day and I said, "Man, I want to sing that song in Spanish." So riding the horse, you know, I translate it and it's the same meaning, you know, and we just recorded that, me and Charlie and the guys. But I sing traditional country music from, I guess, anywhere from the 70s till maybe late 90s.
Great. Now, to just kind of change gears a little, how has the idea of living freely influenced your life and your lifestyle?
Well, you know, I call it magic. You know what I mean? The day I've decided to just live life to the fullest, freely, means to me, if I'm not riding the horse, I'm riding a bike. There's my other horse right there. I ride a bike around town, you know what I mean? And I used to be embarrassed to ride a bike. You know, I used to live a life where I had nice cars. I had a Benz at one time, a Jaguar, but you know what? When you've broken up like I was, and they say you're not going to be all there anymore, and you need to keep doing this and doing that, and or you know what, they would like make me feel like I had to like give up. I mean, I was giving up on life. It's like now it's downhill. No way, not for me. I'm a warrior. I said, man, I don't believe in that. You know, they said, why are you riding? I said, why are you driving? You know, it's the same principle. I'm riding because you're driving. You know, this is how I'm going to get around. I don't need a license. You know what I mean? And it's going to take me a little longer, but I got all day. I'm not married. You know, when I get there, I get there. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I'm riding my horse. I mean, they're killing these poor animals in Crofton, Texas, and in Bastrop. They're killing. You know, people have. They think they say it's inhumane to ride a horse. What's so inhumane about what got to your family here years ago and stuff? You know what I mean? Because the streets and stuff. You know what? These animals, they love being out there. My animals love going out. You know what I mean? I mean, this mule's world known, not just in Austin. I mean, she's known all over the country from what she's done for me. You know what I mean? She got me well, man. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would go to the Los Dos Potrillos Training Center, and I mean, my friend Josh Seeger would bring the mule, and he'd help me on. And on top of her, I was safer than walking. I still am, you know. I mean, living freely to me is, I mean, are you really free? Freedom is a thing in the mind, you know what I mean? You got to really believe it and mean it, you know. And I have no reason not to be free, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not a criminal or nothing, you know. I don't bother nobody. I live a normal life. I love to go downtown. You know how many thumbs up I get when I ride my horses or bring people to town? Hundreds. Not I mean hundreds, thousands, you know. I go to the Capitol. I mean, people, I've just met friends from all over the world, you know, and when you're hurt, you can count on one hand how many people are going to answer that phone when you call or call you. I'm telling you the truth. I'm living proof. But once you get out there and you do something for yourself, I'm a firm believer that, well, you know, if you pray for stuff and you really mean it, and you're going to sacrifice, you're going to give an offering for that prayer, and you really mean it, your prayers will be answered. I mean, there's no way I should be doing this, you know what I mean? And there may be a day, because they say my hearing's going to my right ear, the deafness, and you know what? I don't believe that. That's the freedom I have, you know. My mind keeps me free, you know, and I know that it ain't gonna happen, you know what I mean? Because somebody says it's gonna happen? No. As long as you're not doing something bad, you stay humble, you'll go far in life. And that's how I live now. My freedom is staying humble and telling the truth to people. And I might not be everybody's favorite person downtown, but you know what? I'm a lot of people's favorite. I danced with a 98-year-old woman, that Rebecca Baines Johnson. That was the best time I had singing for the elderly and stuff. All them stories are songs, you know what I mean? I go to, I was at Cherrywood Daycare. I did 189 rides for the kids there last Halloween. I was at San Francisco Church. I did I don't know how many rides at the Jamaica. I mean, I just like doing stuff like that, you know what I mean? You know, that's what it's about. I go ride through town with Kat or my friends, and you have kids and people pulling up, and they go, how fun is that? You know, and it's so much fun, you know what I mean? You know, I got kids saying, you know, Dad, I want to be like that. You know how good that makes me feel, you know? Because at first I think I was made to be a mockery, a joke at first, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you know what? Sure. I remember a friend telling me, I know this is going to pass, Sam. I know you're embarrassed. Embarrassed? I'm not embarrassed. I'm glad I'm riding again, you know what I mean? What's so embarrassed about doing what you feel, you know what I mean? I'm not sitting around and trying to worry about how I'm going to get to the bathroom and take a shower, or worry about if I'm going to fall, or you know what? I just know I'll be all right. You know what I mean? But I know my hands are in. Prayer is wonderful if you believe it and stay humble. That's all I want to say. It is magic.
Yes, sir. So it seems like you do a lot, like you're telling me, taking people on rides, showing them kind of this lifestyle. What are your aspirations for the future in advocating this brand of getting back to nature?
Well, I think more people, if it's perfectly legal, I'm still wondering why I'm the only one doing it. You know, I get approached by a lot of cowboys downtown. Hey, we're doing this and that. You got horses? I got horses. Well, bring them. We'll ride through town. You're crazy. What's so crazy about it? If you're a cowboy, ride your horse through town. That's what you're saying you are. I said, that's what they call me? My horses will go anywhere downtown, and it's perfectly legal. It would be nice to have some hitching posts downtown, wherever I hang out. If it's legal, they should have a place for us to park them, I went to the mayor's office a couple of times, and I've left my name there. Hopefully he'll call me, because I want to ask him maybe where I go places, if we can fix it where I can have a hitching post out front, And the people that are approaching me, that's inhumane. What's so inhumane about this, I mean, you know what? Everybody moved to Austin to live green, right? You can't get no greener than this. If you see some horse turds on the road, you go buy this at Home Depot. It's fertilizer, you know what I mean? All the hippie friends of mine will go tell me where I've been to go rake it up and put in their compost, In fact, if you want compost, email me at 6streetcowboyyahoo.com. I got plenty here. Big Red, Moolah, and Texas compost, you know what I mean? And it grows beautiful gardens. But
that's great.
I would love to see. I got a friend named Aubrey Slackey that I sang in South Carolina, and he rode with me. And he bought a couple of horses I had from me, and he rides now and then. I've known Rupert from Homeboy Foundations, and he does autistic children. And I ran into him when he first came, and he wanted to ride something. He rode a couple of times. I mean, now he's got his. Now he rides, Rainy Street, and Aubrey will ride. It's a slow movement, but it's working. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. I think some of the code enforcement and stuff should be kind of updated, because you know what? These animals don't need to be run. As long as they have food and water, they're fine. You know what I mean? And I had to put shoes on my horses. I've got all the vet stuff, Coggins. I have a personal vet. I want to thank White Horse Veterinarian. Her name is Amber. She comes out here and she checks my horses. She does their teeth, and whenever they get wounded. In fact, Big Red just got hurt, and Homer's Bar and Grill took care of the bill and stuff. And Deb, there's so many people that are supporting me.
That's great.
And they take care of my animals. Cat, Greener Roofs and Gardens. Alexandria, she came aboard and she helps me with my publishing and stuff. And it's just that I just want to be able to leave. I don't want to be another plot when I go 6 feet under. I almost was. I want to leave something behind. You know what? That guy made a difference in this world. He brought cowboys back. Reed Smith from California is doing a documentary. I'm not dead yet, but he's doing a documentary on how I brought cowboys back, and it's in the editing stages. But I guess they're waiting for me to do something else in this story, But my music is what I'm working on right now, and I want it to the people out there to listen to some of my stuff. I mean, it's a miracle I'm even singing.
And give us the name of your band one more time so we can find your
music. It's the 6th Street Cowboy, and I think I'm gonna name my band Native. I got a Choctaw guy that plays, and everybody. Like I said, the bass player, he's a cowboy. He's from Oregon. The drummer is from New Orleans, and Marshall Hood's from South Carolina. But we're working on an album, a CD, that it's going to be local talent, local musicians around town that have I've met and stuff, and record some of their stuff. You know what I mean? And they'll get to play on the CD also. But
great.
The name is Native. Right now it's Choctaw Wildfire playing for me, but there's so many talented musicians that play for me. I got the number long. I know. They all sing at the Continental places. And also ain't no telling what the spirits are gonna send me. Every day it's another door. I don't look. I just think greater powers upstairs that give me another day to be here to talk to you. I don't worry about nothing anymore. I don't worry about anything anymore. I'm well taken care of. Life has been great to me. Mr. Jim O'Brien's a great man. My friends, I've met so many nice people here at Jim's. We have picking parties here. We sing, and you'd be surprised the people I met in this town.
That's great.
I met Paul Rodriguez the other day. I got invited to a tech stop by textile retirement party at the Barrientos Cultural Center, and I met Paul Rodriguez, and that was Advanced Wireless Solutions. Michael Huerta invited me there. And then I sang at Rabbits for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and Gonzalo spoke there. You know, I've done a lot of things. I've sang at Parks and Wildlife for alternative transportation, Opal Divine, Fred Gills for a benefit. You know, I've been to Georgia. I was at Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota last month for Sundance, and I got to sing with some Indian country western guys at the Rosebud Reservation. You know, and it's just starting. You know what I mean?
That's great.
And if y'all want to help with my music or my animals, you know what? I live off a disability check, and I could always use some help with people that want to help. You can get a hold of Alexandria Landeros, correct?
Yes.
Come here, Alexandria.
If you want to give your contact information or an email or something, people want to help.
We'll give Sam's Facebook page for now.
What's your Facebook page?
6th Street Cowboy, correct?
It's facebook.com, the 6th Street Cowboy.
The 6th Street Cowboy.
Yes.
Thank you, Alexandra. And I just have a...
I actually do have to head out.
You have to head out? Okay,
Yeah.
just a couple more questions if that's all right.
Cool.
Okay, I've got like 5 minutes.
Okay, we can do it in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Really quick questions.
Okay.
Sam, who are your heroes?
My heroes? Geronimo, Augustus McCrae, Call from Lonesome Dove, heroes. Here comes one of my heroes right there, Jim O'Brien. He asked me who my heroes are. Film that man right there. That's one of my heroes right there, Jim O'Brien. You know what? He was Yolson sent. He was Yolson sent. You know, he's been there for me for my animals. I can honestly say that. That man right there is all heart. He's a good man.
Yes, sir. And last question, then I'll ask if you have anything to add after this one.
Sure.
What do you think of the increase of intensive redevelopment in central Austin, Texas?
The increase of, well, you know, I had that question last night, and I'm going to answer that. You know what? I like local, buy local. I like stuff like that, and you know, corporations are great only if they're going to do something right for the environment. You know what I mean? They got to do something positive for the environment, not to get richer, but you got to give something back. You know what I mean? You got to give something back. You know, I'm broken up. Like right now, I'm in a lot of pain. You see me moving aside, not because because of my lower back when I broke it, but also, to me, I'm not a corporation, but I get back to the environment. I get back for the people to see for this state. You know what I mean? I've come forth. For me to be, I ride through town so people can see there's still cowboys in Texas. You know what I mean? Indian cowboys. You know, they're still around, and we believe in our traditions. You know, and whenever you see me out in the streets, stop and say hello, take a picture with me. You know, I'd love to talk to you.
Great. Well, I thank you so much for spending time here with me today, Sam. And is there any last words you'd like to tell the viewing audience before we leave?
Aho mitakuyash.
Thank you.
Talk shot ake kola. And if they know, that's Lakota Sioux. They can look it up and they'll see what he was talking about.
Could you tell us one more time?
Talk shot ake kola and aho mitakuyash.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Austin.